Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Tim Langdon, One Man Worship Band. Quick story about that. I had a buddy of mine back years ago. He led worship at a church. It was a very small church. And he once told me about his setup that he had. And he would have a keyboard in front of him with a foot pedal so he could lay down a pad sound. And this was back 20 years ago, so we didn't have all the technology we have now. So he had the keyboard, and then he had a hi-hat at his other foot that he would click in time. He had a guitar, and then he had his microphone, and then he had some wind chimes that he had a fan on that would blow and make the wind chimes do it. So he was a one-man worship band. So that's where I got the inspiration for the name of my channel and my and all of my email for years. So that's where I got that idea from. And plus it's where I got the idea to kind of help people who need help leading worship that don't have access to resources like other people do. So one of the important things about being a worship leader is, number one, knowing music. And now I don't have a music degree. I was never in band. I've never taken any formal music lessons whatsoever. Everything I've ever learned, I learned on my own. I learned from friends. I learned from watching YouTube videos. I learned from a buddy of mine. He had a website, and he was great, and really taught me some things on the guitar. But one of the most important things that you need to learn if you're going to be a worship leader is the way I learned music, if you've ever heard the term Nashville number system, this will sound kind of familiar to you, but if it doesn't, maybe the old song, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So in the key of G, just listen to the way this sounds and see if this sounds familiar. Again. So that is a G scale, and it has notes in it pretty much like the alphabet. So you got your G, and then your A, and your B, C, D, and then you got your, oh man, I lost my train of thought. Then you got your E, sorry, and then you got your F sharp, and then your G. And all of those correspond to a number. So G is 1. It's pretty logical. So A is 2, B is 3, C is 4, D is 5, E is 6, F sharp is 7, and G is 8, or back to the 1. So what you learn is, the way that I learned chords, especially chord families, is your one chord is always a major chord. So this is a G major. It's real happy sounding. Majors are always happy. So the next in the alphabet, because we're going to, G is the end, so we're going to start back over at A. So you would play an A minor. Okay? And then the next chord, you could either play a B minor, like this, or you could play it like this, or you could just play a G over B, which would basically be a G chord, without ever hitting this top string. So you're just hitting this second string here. All right, so there's your 3. And your C, here's your 4. Sometimes you see C played like this, which is fine. I always play a C like this. That's your 4. Then D is your 5. So E minor would be your 6, and then F sharp minor would be the 7th, but I would always play a D over F sharp, so you'd have the 5 over the 7, or the 7 over the 5, and then back to the G. Now, I don't want to confuse you, so let me go back and make sure that makes sense to you. So the way it works out is the 1 is a major. The 2 and the 3 are minor. The 4th and 5th are major. The 6th is minor, and the 7th is also can be minor, can be diminished, but we won't worry about that. But it's usually what it is in contemporary worship music is a split chord. You'll have the 5th, so if it's in G, you'd have a D, and then you would have in the root an F sharp. So that's your 7th note. So your D over F sharp. So you'd have your G over B as your 3, and your D over F sharp. And the reason all this is going to make sense to you is because as you start doing songs in different keys, you can use your capo. And then, for instance, if you had a song in the key of A, so you put the capo on the 2nd fret, and you use G positions, and you say, okay, so what's the 1? An A. But I'm using the G position. It's the 1 position, but that's an A. So the next one would be, that's a B minor, but I'm using an A minor position. So B, and then what's the next one? It's a whole step up. So it would be C sharp, so you would play an A over C sharp, which would be this G over B position. And then you could walk that up to the C position, which is now a D, down to the D position, which is now an E, to the E over G sharp, which is now that D over F sharp, back to the 1. So if you had a song that was in the key of A, and the chords were A, D, E, you could play G position, and then to the C position, and then to the D position to make your E chord. So A, D, E. And what that does for you is that allows you to play songs in the original keys when you don't necessarily have to know all the chords. So if you understand the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, and the 7, back to the 1, then you can play just about any song. For example, if you had a song that was in A flat, back here to this position, all right? So your 1 is your A flat. Now, a lot of times the songs will start on the 1, but that's not always the case. So you can't look at the first chord in the song and say, oh, it's in this key. No, that's not how that works. You can't do it that way. But a lot of songs do start out in the 1 position. So let me see. King of My Heart is one that we do. Female does the lead part, and then I'll do like the bridge part. You're never gonna let me go. So you're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. So all that is the 1, and then the 4, and then the 1, and then the 6, and the 5, and the 4, and back to the 1. So if you start learning those chord positions, you'll see that songs are simpler to do because you understand, okay, if this song's in B flat, then I know I can take my capo and I can move it up here. And let me show you how you know how to do this. So if you know where a G position starts, okay, this is a supplementary capo lesson. I've got a video on capo use, but this is a little more advanced. So you know your root note here, G. So there's your E is open, and then F sharp, G. So it's 3. It's on the 3rd fret from the nut up here. 1, 2, 3. All right. So all you ever have to do if you want to play it in B flat, so where's your B flat on the 1st string? You really need to know these things if you're playing guitar, where all the notes are, especially in the first 2 strings. That'll help you with your capo a lot. But you got your G, G sharp, A sharp, B flat. So here's your B flat right here on the 6th fret. Well, so if it's on the 6th fret, I can take my capo, put it on the 3rd fret. Remember, 1, 2, 3. Here's your B flat. So now, instead of it sounding like if you had to do a B flat like this, which, I mean, it'll work. I'm not saying it won't. I'm just saying that's really tough on your hands, especially when you're leading worship. Or you can play a B flat down here, but that's going to sound weird, and plus it's a bar chord that's difficult to play. So you come in here to the 3rd fret, and there's your B flat. Well, okay, if the next chord then underneath that, here's your B flat. So your C position here, just look where this is. So this is a D, this is your D sharp, E flat. So B flat, then your E flat. So you see an E flat, you're like, oh, that's a C position, right? And then in B flat, excuse me, that's an F. And this is a G minor. And you'll see those chords and you're like, wait a minute, I know how to play those chords because I know how to use my capo now. So if you were singing the song Champion in its original key, which is B flat, I think. I tried so hard to see it. It took me so long to believe it. You choose someone like me to carry your victory. So really, honestly, I'm very bad at remembering chords. But because I knew the chord positions in the key of G, I knew it had to be one of those chords. So I tried so hard to see it. Took me so long to believe it. So that's the 6th. And here's the 5th. You choose someone like me. To the 4. To carry your victory. And then back to the 1. So now I played this song in the key of B flat without even understanding, maybe not understanding all the chords. So like if you were to go to that 3rd, okay, so you got your 1, 2, and then the 3. Well, what chord is that? What chord are you playing? So let's see what you're playing. So that's a D. So that would be a B flat over D. Now, you could play that without even actually knowing what it is. You'll learn those things, but I'm saying the capo and knowing the chord families allows you to play songs that you might not be able to play because you don't know all the chords, and you know it just takes a while to learn all those things, and it takes a while to plant them inside your head. So that's really what you want to be able to do. You want to learn that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The chord families, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is the 1 again, and how those families work. The 1 being major, the 2 being minor, the 3 being minor, the 4 being major, the 5th being major, the 6th being minor, the 7th being a 5 over 7, and then the 8th being right back to the 1. So if you grab your guitar and you see a song that's in the key of, you know, I don't know, let's just imagine something's in the key of F, and you wanted to play it like this. You could use this D position. Now this is something different, D position, rather than in G position. So you could play, there's your A, there's your B minor, and your G. So this is your 1 chord, and there's your 4, and there's your 5. So you could do, and what you'll notice is there are a lot of people who use capos when they do worship songs. It just makes things easier. So you want to try to start learning those things. Now I'm going to try to put some of these letters and numbers in this video as I'm going along to give you a little bit more clarity. But if you want to ask any questions, feel free. I'll check in and I'll say if I can answer your questions, because I really want to help worship leaders who are struggling and trying to learn music, but they're not able to because they don't have the resources, and they don't have anybody that they trust to tell them how to do these things. So anyway, my name is Tim Lane, and again, this is One Man Worship Band, and I hope you have a blessed day.